Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters. My name is Errol Phillip from Tobago, more so from Birchwood Triangle, Hamden Lowlands. The church I normally go to is Calvary Road, Deliverance, Tabernacle, Bonaccord 4 Roads. And I really want to share this testimony with you all that has been on my chest for a while now. I really want to share this testimony that I believe will be of great help, to you, how God came through and delivered me by his strong hand. I just want to thank him for that deliverance. And I really want to share this testimony to you this afternoon. It has to do with depression, so that you all would know how to treat maybe individual in case they should be depressed. You'll have an idea how to treat them. I've been like this since 2016. It has been about 4.5 years now. So you might ask me, well, what caused you to be depressed? Well, as far as I could remember, in my own immediate family, I had a sister who was murdered somewhere in the 70s. She was married to a Chinese guy, and the Chinese guy and a friend murdered her. And come 2013, my brother murdered my sister and then kill himself. And I also want to believe that witchcraft was in it too. Witchcraft was involved in me being depressed too. I want to believe that too. And, so we had 2 funerals in one day. My brother was buried in the morning and my sister in the afternoon. So they had called me for counseling in Belgrove. But I told myself I was strong. I didn't need any counseling. So I was made to understand I was grieving silently. Because I could remember my brother wanted to kill his landlord some years ago, and the Lord caused me to show me it in a dream. And I remember me and my wife went out some way across Calvary area, and the driver stopped, and I asked the driver to give me a while. Give me a minute, or give me some time. I see somebody over the road looking like my brother. And when I went over, it was my brother with a cutlass in the bag. So the Lord showed me that in a dream. So I took it on. I took it on and was questioning God and why I couldn't stop it. And it's a lot of questions. I was blaming myself. I remember my sister at one point in time told me she was made to understand that my brother wanted to kill her and she wanted to move out from the house. Well, I told her, well, that will be so hard, seeing that my mother leave the house for you, and it will be so hard to know that you move out from the house. And I remember I met her some other time and she told me she wouldn't bother move out again. So I thought everything was okay until I got the shocking news, some call some afternoon, that there was some stabbing took place by your home, and it is very, very serious. So I couldn't help but it was so hard. It was so difficult. So they told me I was grieving silently. So because of that, I really didn't go for no counseling. And I remember 2016, I was supposed to retire in 2017. So I just started getting small. I just started to get losing size. I could remember I used to wear size 38 pants. It come to 34. And 34 was still too big. I had to use a belt to pull in the pants. And I had no appetite whatsoever. No appetite. I was so, I couldn't sleep. I was under torment. Couldn't sleep day nor night. Just tormented. No peace. So I had to say I retire in shame because I preparing to resign, and I just started again getting small and work and still had to fight up to go to work. I remember going to work. Work is 7 o'clock. I getting up I couldn't sleep all 2 o'clock in the morning. I starting to dress to get, to go to work. That had to be a madman, 2 o'clock I starting to dress to go to work, and work is quite 7 o'clock, and I was so small. I didn't want nobody to see me, hiding from people, hiding from your, it was so, I would say, awful. So I fight up to go to work for the few months until 2017 come, fight up to resign under shame because I was so small and so looking so bad, and everybody in the work know about the situation and know how I'm looking bad, and I believe must be smelling bad too, because depression really ain't come out here, because there was no desire to bathe. When you're depressed, you're not bathing, not brushing your teeth, not going to the toilet and passing the face basin straight, and it was awful. And to me, it means nothing to me. Like it really didn't mean anything to me, like if I've done nothing wrong, you know what I mean? So I has been that way for 4.5 years. And, my wife had a stomach, that stench, I should say, she know, I believe, because there are times she sent me to bathe, and I just throwing up water in the bathroom, like if I'm bathing, just taking a shower and throwing up water in the bathroom, and taking my hands and wipe the towel to let it appear to be wet, as if to say dry your skin, But my wife turned and said, but you're not bathing. You're not bathing. I know when somebody is bathing and how the water should sound. You're not bathing. I tried to, patch it up, but we can't fool women. They know exactly, women are such a, as a wife, they're so wise. And they would know exactly if your husband bathing, yes or no. But I fought with it for so long, but there was no desire to bathe for, I would say, for that 4.5 years. No desire to bathe whatsoever. To brush your teeth, things that you're accustomed doing, accustomed brushing your teeth, you're accustomed bathing. No desire to do those things at all. I'm walking up and down in the house when the day come. I'm not coming outside. Not coming outside at all because I don't want nobody to see me. So this went on for quite a while. I just sitting down, getting small. I remember the barber had to come to trim me sometimes, and my face had 2 big sinks in it. I got so small that I had to blow out air on my side of the face for the side to come out for the barber to shave, to shave this spot because the both side is sinking. Not, not eating or anything like that, or hardly eating. So I got extremely small, So I remember during those times, those 4.5 years, it wasn't easy. I was just under torment, just tormented day and night. I remember the devil coming to me and telling me, I'm sending a spirit of torment on you. And it came to me like bees. I felt the bees and them run up on my feet and went into my ears and went down into my body. And the torment, the level of torment rise much more. The level of torment was much more since that happened to me. And it wasn't easy. No peace day, no peace night. Just tormented. I remember the time came when I retired in 2017. Man, the news came to me. I think in less than 2.5 years' time. Your check come. I didn't want to go for my check on them at all. I remember my wife saying, if I had to bring a police for you, you have to go for the check. You have to go for your check and then you retire and your money come and you don't want to go for the money. I didn't want to go for the check on them at all. I do, because first I tell myself, people seeing me, how small and how I looking so bad. I didn't want to go for the check on them. But I had to go. So I went for the check on them, of course with my wife. And when I get the check on them, is the next problem. I had to go straight to the bank. And next set a whole set of people had to see me again. How small I'm looking, how small and how bad I'm looking. But I was just waiting until, all I was just waiting to finish what I'm doing in the bank. She said to sign here. You know what I mean? Just to finish all the signing and just to come out to go back where I came, go back home. Outside that nobody can see me or nobody can, nobody wouldn't see me outside because it was so scary that I was so scared. I was afraid of policemen. It looked like if I commit a crime, I running from police. I was looking so suspicious. I had such a suspicious look, like if I killed somebody, And it was real scary over those 4.5 years. I remember I had to go different places with my wife to doctor in some cases to check up and, you know what I mean. But I remember too, I don't know what caused the depression too, because little before that took place, I took a surgery in 2016 in June, and the depression thing started about the 2nd of August in June 2016. I developed complications, I remember, when I took that second surgery with hernia. So from the hernia to this depression, and it was not easy. It wasn't easy at all for those 4.5 years' time. So during that long 4.5 years' time, so depressed, getting so small, I remember on work, I get into little incident, little kind of fighting. When I say little fighting, it shouldn't be a call yourself a Christian, but still I get into little argument and little fighting. So I observe her always using a hammer, like trying to fight with a hammer. On 2 occasions, I find it strange. 2 occasions, fighting with a hammer. So I remember during that 4.5 years' time, very, very early, the devil tell me personally to kill my wife with the hammer. I fought with that thing there. I fought with that, trying to, I fought with it over and over until I heard in Lambo some years ago, even during the time, that some guy killed a school teacher early morning with a hammer. So the devil come to me personally. He said, look how long I told you to kill your wife with a hammer. Look, this man come and kill your wife before you. A personal, like if I actually belong to the devil. Look how long I tell you to kill your wife with a hammer, you know? So I fought with this thing over and over with my wife. When she's sleeping, I take out the hammer. Carry the hammer in the room. I have it under the pillow. I raise it up over her head. My wife was such a peaceful woman. I mean, she always praying. Eh? Before she go to bed every night, she said, Lord, I'm going to sleep. And if the enemy try anything, perchance, let the angels of God draw the sword and pace. You know? You know? So I fought with this thing. So I raise up my hammer whilst my wife sleeping over her head. But I can't bring it down. I can't get it to come down, to hit her head at all. It can't come down. When I look at my wife's face, her face look like a lion ready to sprint on you. You know, her face look as a lion. I fought over the 4.5 years. I believe it's more much. It could be more than 100 times I tried to kill her with a hammer, but I could not have gotten through. And I thank God that didn't happen. And in one point in time, here I tell myself, look how the scripture fulfilled before your face, that she could lie down, you know, in the presence of your enemy. She's sleeping and I in the presence of her enemy, and she's sleeping and I can't get to carry out the work. I can't get to destroy her. So I said, look at the scripture fulfilling before my eyes. And I remember when my wife used to pray, real pray for me, and real pray on a whole. And she said when she used to read the Bible in the morning, sometimes about 10 Psalms, I would tell her, you're reading out the whole Bible? You're reading the whole Bible? But I was being tormented, and I always used to feel like arrows coming through my body when she's reading the Bible, when she's singing songs, when she's worshiping, when she's speaking in tongues and singing in tongues. Real torment for me. Real torment. I don't know. Maybe my wife was on another level, because every song she sang in English, from the English she gone into tongues. If it's 10 or 6 songs, every one of them she could sing with the same rhythm. From English into tongues with the same rhythm. But when she speaks in tongues, it's real torment for me. Don't talk about when she dance with the cloth, crying under the torment. You know, so I'm saying that we don't know what it is in the Christian circle, what warfare is, when we read the Bible, honestly pray, speak in tongues, sing in tongues, dance, even with the cloth. It is warfare. It is blows for the enemy on the other side. Real blows for the enemy. I know it because you have to say I actually belong to the kingdom, to Satan himself. I belong to the kingdom of darkness. So I was so tormented, and smelling so bad that, you know, my wife, with all the torment, she's not leaving. So I tell myself, Well, she said, if anybody had to leave, it's you, not me. Because, you know, on the bed, I smell and stink. On the bed, you have sweet on one side and stink on the other side. She had to spray the bed every day and every night and every evening to have the room smelling. You know, because depression, you're not bathing, you're not brushing your teeth. And, you know what I mean? It was so bad that she's still not leaving. The time came when my wife had to go to Trinidad. That was May 2020. She had to take a surgery month end May 2020. So she left to go to Trinidad after caring for me, I should say, for over four years. But when she left to go to Trinidad, it was very, very difficult for me. When she left to go to Trinidad, the couch became my bed. The couch. You know, I couldn't sleep in the bedroom again. I was sleeping on the couch. And during those times, my stepdaughter used to bring food for me. But at the same time, I had to go down the road to collect the food. So I already don't want to come out of the house. But I had to go to get the food in order to get a little thing to eat. However I could eat, you know. So she normally just call and say, I'll be by you in 15 minutes time. Sometimes. But sometimes, you know, that in that 15 minutes time, it gave me enough time to spray up my skin, look like if I bathe, comb up my hair, look like if I bathe, you know, in those 15 minutes time. But sometime again, she would call and say, I'll be by you next 2 minutes. I went so far that I started to fall letter she. Give she some fall letter. Because when she give me 15 minutes to come, it give me enough time to get ready. But when she said 2 minutes, I gave her some 4 letter, but I couldn't let she hear it. Because if she heard those 4 letter was the last food I was going to get. So, but she said, but how your toenail long so, and black? How your breath smelling snow? You just bad? But I tell people I was a vagrant, an in-house vagrant, not bathing, not brushing your teeth. Depression brings you to this place where you don't want to bathe. There is no desire to bathe. There is no desire to brush your teeth. There is no desire to smell good or to look good. This depression, there's a part of depression. And it always step over into suicidal. You know, and the devil told me in those times, when you kill your wife, what you need to do, hang yourself. So I have a ladder in my house, an 8-foot ladder. I took a piece of curtain, along a piece of my wife, a strong curtain, and tie a lasso on it. And the devil said, as soon as you kill she, just go and hang yourself. Hang yourself on the ladder. And I went up there on the ladder several times, tied the lasso around my neck several times. Even though I didn't kill she yet, and tried to jump. But it looks so difficult to jump. It looks so difficult to jump. And it not difficult, it looks so wicked to take that jump. To jump, I tied the lasso on the rafter, the house roof, tied the lasso around my neck, and just to jump, but I couldn't jump. I tried in all the rooms and them, all over the house, trying to hang yourself. So the spirit of murder and murder-suicide was upon me, I know for certain, because during that moment, there was a lot of witchcraft took place in the house, I would say the house stopped day and night. I call it a Zessa party. All kind of noise you're hearing, all kind of conjuring noise, both day and night. Noise, loud noise like people walking on the housetop. That happened during the whole 4.5 years. And during them time, there all kind of creature coming into the house. The snake, is rat, is bat, is ants, is cockroach, is spider. And my wife went to the washroom one time, was about to go to the washroom, but she said, look a snake over your head. I think that's the first time, the first attack. Why I believe it's witchcraft. Look a snake over your head. When I look, it's a black snake. A black snake right over my head, just to jump on me. So she said, get it out of the house. I still didn't want to come out of the house, but I looking so thin in the pajamas. It was about 2 o'clock in the morning or 2 to 2:30. I still didn't want to get out of the house. But you know, woman already, get out the snake out of the house, get it out of the house. So I try and take the noise and went outside and tried to get out the snake. When I get out the snake out of the house with a PVC pipe, I take the cutlass. It was like a horsewhip snake, a little bigger than a horsewhip. I tried to cut the snake, but the snake like a truck tire. The cutlass bouncing off of the snake. No matter how much I chop the snake. I cut the snake, try to kill it. This cutlass bouncing off back of the snake. That could never be a natural snake. So I took the cutlass and kind of pong up his head, and then take it and throw it in the bush. That couldn't be an ordinary snake because you can't cut. The cutlass bouncing off of the snake, and it just a little bigger than a horsewhip. That had to be witchcraft. I could remember there were 2 big pools of water at different times in the house. Nobody throw water there. No piping, whisper the water there. Big pool of water. You had to get mop to mop up the water. You know? So there were witchcraft involved in this depression thing, murder, suicide. There were witchcraft also involved in it. So I remember when my wife went to Trinidad, it was difficult. You know, I started counting the months. The months and them seemed so long. 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, until it come to 6 months, and then it started to climb up. But it was very difficult when she left. So me and sweeping when I sleeping on the couch, me and cleaning, me and sweeping, me and doing nothing. And I remember my stepdaughter came at evening to use the washroom. She said, but how the living room smelling so? How it smelling so? You know what I mean? And she said she ain't coming up back in the house. How it smelling so? But the truth is, a vagrant was living there. A vagrant was in the house. So my operation then was strictly like a vagrant. Just an in-house vagrant, not brushing your teeth, not bathing. You know what I mean? It's amazing. So when my wife left and go to Trinidad and she took the surgery, it was difficult for me. So in 2020, it was real difficult for me when she took the surgery and the months and them climbing up and like she ain't coming back, as it were. So I thought I had believed that God probably maybe give me over to the enemy, and I didn't see myself coming back, honestly. So the time came when I on the 10th of December 2020 was my birthday. I think I turned 63 years old, and I was still a vagrant. 2020 December 10th, 2020. But my deliverance, I would say, I don't know when it took place. It's after the 10th. I don't know if it's the 15th, if it's the 12th or the 14th. But all I know my wife used to really pray for me. I know the church used to really pray for me. I know the brethren used to really pray for me. But even in those times, I didn't want to see nobody. Nobody could have reached me. Even co-workers tried to reach me and work. I couldn't speak with anyone, pastor or not pastor. I didn't want to see nobody. You know, and if they do come, I behave in office. You know what I mean? Because no one could reach you. Like when you're in depression, you're in a world all by yourself, as it were. You're in a world all by yourself when you're under depression. You know? So I couldn't speak with anyone. I didn't want to see nobody. Nobody couldn't reach me. Anybody come by me, all I say, but I couldn't hold no healthy conversation with nobody. So I remember in December 2020, the 10th, I was 63 and I was still a vagrant. But the deliverance took place after. I remember like God, as it were, this is the way I explain it. Like he came to me and pushed his hand straight down into my stomach. That's the way I explain it. And he pulled out from my belly, as it were, depression, grief, hurt, torment, fear, even arrogance. God pulled out so much of thing from me. And to me, you know what he left inside of me? He left peace, joy, happiness. I just was like something was overturning in my belly. Overturning just for joy, just for happiness, and so peaceful. Never have I been so peaceful and so joyful. Like there was a joy in the center of my being. That's the way I could explain it. In the center of my being, when he pulled out all the depression, whatever, he left joy and happiness and peace. The peace of God is a wonderful thing. Peace, the peace of God, it's a wonderful thing. I was so tormented day and night. Couldn't sleep for 4.5 years. I was so tormented. Hardly had any sleep, couldn't sleep. You know what I mean? And when I experienced that, to me, like I just got saved when I experienced that deliverance. So I think that same year, December was coming to Christmas. My daughter, I think the nurse one, she said she's not leaving her father to spend Christmas by himself. So she came over Christmas Eve. So she began to tell my family of some of the changes she saw in me. Because God did a work, I could tell her that. God did a tremendous work. She reported the family some of the changes she saw. And one of the things was that I couldn't watch a television for the 4.5 years. I couldn't watch a television. Because to me, the television watching at me, and it talking about me. So whenever they had the television on, and I had to pass, I have a big towel I put over my head and I pass, or crawl on the ground like an animal, just for the TV not to see me. Could you imagine that? So tormented I was. So tormented, like everybody watching at you, the TV watching at you, even the very cell phone on my wife have with songs and things. I couldn't watch at her cell phone, even while they have hymns and praying, like the people and them on the cell phone watching at me. I used to hide from her cell phone when she have gospel and one of the things I observed during that depression time, every song, my wife always have praise and worship song. And there was a song, everything used to offend me. A song you call Emailer. You know what I mean? This worship song. I am being so tormented when I heard that song. And so many gospel songs she would sing, new songs, and Nara, some of them, and you know what I mean? As though all those songs they brought torment to me when I was under this depression. You were so tormented, and she always coming up with a new song, a new worship song, you know what I mean? Some new song to worship. And it's more torment for me. Whilst I was under the depression, torment after torment. Somebody always sending some song for she. Somebody always sending something on the phone for she. You know what I mean? So the torment was great. Real tormented. So as my wife, as my daughter, tell my family some of the changes they observe in me. They decided to give me a test. One of the tests is that they invite me for lunch by Andrea, which is my stepdaughter. They know I can't watch TV, and they know I have no appetite. So we went there, I think it was Christmas Day or Boxing Day. She shared out a big plate of food. They know I don't eat. I have no appetite. But when they share out the food, big plate of food, I don't have no appetite. I ate every piece of the food. And not only that, they turned on the television because I couldn't watch a television for 4.5 years. She turned on the television and it was no big thing to me. Because she said, they invite me to Trinidad. And she said, my other daughter have a TV which is bigger. So I said, well, you have a television, but my other daughter, she have a cinema. And indeed it was a cinema. So I passed all the tests they gave me. The test of the television, the test of the food. But even when I got my deliverance, home, I never used to walk. I was so thin when I got my deliverance, never come outside yet. And the neighbors and them know that very well. So when I got my deliverance, the desire come to me to work. I was so thin, I couldn't even walk properly. So I struggled those times and they removed the cutlass from the house because for some reason they said I might use it. So they hide up all the weapons, all the knives. The only knife that left was a kind of saw knife. But I took my saw because I'm a joiner by trade. So I oiled the saw and I went outside in my weak state. Hardly could walk. All the fruit trees and them were clustered with different trees and them. And when I got my deliverance, the desire come to me to work. So I went outside struggling, cut down all the things that, covering up the fruit trees and them, take off all the mistletoes from the fruit trees and them. And I heard the neighbor say, but how this man doesn't come outside? You ain't say much work this man doing. You ain't say much how he cleaning up the yard. The desire came to work and I went outside and clean up all the fruit trees and take off the mistletoes, build up a bench. And I even had a pomegranate tree that bear in a cane field as it were. All the cane cover it. I clean it out and only all of them fell and only one good one I got from the tree. But I was so glad that the tree was still alive, Pomegranate, I think that's what they call it. So the desire to work came as soon as I get my deliverance. So God Almighty, He came true for me in the form of deliverance, but He Himself pushing His hand down into my stomach and pulling out those things. And to me, I just got saved. The relationship with God now, it is so sweet. It is so loving. It is so kind. It is so, like when I pray now, like God, me and Jesus side by side, and what coming out from my heart towards Him, it is so clean and pure. It's like I just get saved. I never know, just got saved because of this, because of the deliverance from God, So I would say that depression, there are a lot of people now that are going through depression. Even Christians are depressed for some reason or the other, So I would say God, because of the prayers of my wife, because of the prayers of the brethren, because of the prayers of people far and wide, God came true for me. I didn't see myself coming back here. It gotten so bad that I gave away all my tools, preparing to die, And I'm a tradesman by, But I thank God that the person I gave is my stepdaughter husband. So I would get back all the tools on them. But God came true for me, tremendous, from this 4.5 years of depression. It was so hard. It was so hard and under tremendous torment. But I would say I couldn't deliver myself. I could not have delivered myself. And depression, it didn't come out here. I saw myself in a dark tunnel. As a matter of fact, let me give you this part. I actually went to hell. I remember during that period of depression, somebody pulled, like some carpet or something was pulled under my feet. And like I dropped into a precipice. So I tell myself, here I say, this is hell. This place is hell. Way under the earth. This is hell. And I remember the song I went down with. It's the first time I heard that song. You make me stronger. You are my creator. It's the first time I heard that song. And they were singing it in Spanish and different other languages. So it come like I was so strong in the devil. When I dropped down in hell, the demons and them laughed me. They laughed me. I saw some creatures look like Pink Panther. You know, the Pink Panther on television. They laughed me. So here I tell myself why I was in hell. I say, I know you don't hear, which is my brother. I say, I know you don't hear. I have to find you. I know you don't hear. So I begin to walk about in hell, the place dark. I saw men and women in hell. I saw children about 10 to 11 years old with their parents in hell. And in hell, the people in them, they look possessed and tormented, walking up and down. Not only that, the amount of room I saw it have in hell, real room. The place big room to hold a whole set of people. So I was so amazed. I walking up and down hill. I said, I know you down here. I talk about my brother who committed murder suicide. I said, I know you down here. You down here. I have to find you. So I walking up and down hill, walking looking for him. But God didn't allow me to find my brother at all. God did not allow me to find my brother in hell. I would say it's a horrible experience. You know, I was so amazed to see children that age in hell. So, and there is no reunion in hell. Everybody down there. He didn't show me the fire. He did not show me the fire. For whatever reason, I would say God, he caused me not to see the fire. I don't know if it's a semi-state of hell or if it's a holding place just before going to the fire. But the place was real dark. But I was seeing the people and them. And I saw the amount of room we have down there. And I saw the little children. And I saw the people down there like they're possessed. Like they're possessed. Just walking up and down. Men and women. Plenty people down there. So that experience I had. Lord God have mercy. It's a horrible experience. I didn't expect to come back here. I did not expect to come back here. But I would say I thank God so much for, you know, for performing that deliverance on me, you know, because I have actually given up on myself. I gave up on myself. I tell myself, well, that is it. Me ain't coming back here at all. So depression and murder suicide, as I told people in the information, the devil have a lot of tools that he using to take people to hell. A lot of tools. But you see, murder and murder suicide is one of the tools that the devil is using in these last days throughout our nation and throughout the whole entire world. Murder and murder suicide. Even the people who carrying out the explosives on themselves, tie on and killing themselves and killing other people and telling yourself you'll end up in paradise. That is a lie from the pit of hell. That is a lie from the pit of hell. So murder suicide is one of the tools, among other tools the devil using in these last days to take people to hell, blind them, you know, use parties and fetes and other things. Hell is a horrible place. It's a horrible place. A place of torment. So I thank God. I thank God for really restoring me. Excuse me. I thank God for restoring me and for bringing me back into a better place. So I love God right now with the very fiber, all the fiber of my being, I love God. I want to serve Him with everything I have. And since I came back here, God has given me several messages. I don't know, the amount of message that God caused me to, and even scriptures that He gave me to, enlighten my understanding. But He has given me several messages. He gave me one on women that I need to put together very soon. We normally say that women are the weaker vessel, but that may mean that a woman might not be able to heist a bag of cement. But women are very, very strong. Very, very strong. And this is our next message that I have to put together with the help of the individual who the Lord sent to put these messages together. So I'm amazed at what God has done in my life through this and I had lots of plans concerning retirement, what I would do from what I wouldn't do, and everything just fall. It's amazing how things just collapse. But I could say thanks be to God for giving me the victory over this depression and fear and torment and harassment and all the, even strong temper. I believe God, when He pull out even some arrogance, I would say too, honestly, because I find I'm more tolerable and more, in many ways. So I love God with all. And it's my desire to really please God. He has dropped so many songs in my spirit, in my spirit, like from the hymns and them, from the, I think it's melodies of praise. I think I end up singing this one here. He dropped this song on my heart whilst I was in Trinidad. It goes like this. The Lord's been good. The Lord's been good. The Lord's been good to me. How can I let Him down? How can I let Him down? How can I let Him down? For the Lord's been good to me. The Lord's been good. The Lord's been good. The Lord's been good to me. How can I let Him down? How can I let Him down? How can I let Him down? For the Lord's been good to me. The Lord's been good. The Lord's been good. The Lord's been good to me. How can I let Him down? How can I let Him down? How can I let Him down? For the Lord's been good to me. So I thank God. He has been extremely good, extremely, faithful to me to restore me, because I was like a madman, a mad person, out of your mind. But I thank God, even my very co-workers now, when I would call them and sometimes they would hear my voice, they would say, well, how you sound so powerful, so. And many of them came and they shocked to see the recovery, because people who are working among for all the years, who know me inside out, they are baffled at what God has done. And I say God is a God of miracles. When I've given up on myself, and God did not given up on me. He still had plan and purpose for me. When I thought that was it, I was out of it and that's the end of my life. But it was a long journey. But I could say thanks be unto God. And in the midst of it all, I expect my wife was to leave, honestly, because of the stench and all the things are not bathing, and still she decided that she's not leaving. I don't know for what reason, but you know what I mean? But, but I could say that God has been extremely good to me. So depression, there is hope, because God, the Almighty God, He can do anything. And even in the Christian circles, there are many believers are depressed for some reason or the other. And the devil coming to many people because of the struggle they're facing. Nothing to eat, no house to live, and different things. And the devil is showing people that, he's showing them that the grass is greener on the other side. But it's a lie. The grass is not greener on the other side. I could tell you that. The grass is not greener. So regardless of what temptation, you may not have nothing home to eat. Children, you have children to feed, nothing to eat, no home to live, no place to live, and the enemy might be feeding you with negativity until it's, no use living, destroy yourself. That is a tool from the enemy. Satan wants company. He wants company to people to join him in hell. Do not listen to the lies of the enemy. Do not go about to destroy yourself by murder or murder-suicide. It's a trick, regardless of your temptation, regardless of your trial, regardless of your testing. Do not take your own life, because the same God who fashioned mankind, who fashioned the human race, God will never tell an individual to destroy yourself. The only being that would tell us to kill ourselves, it is the devil himself, because the Bible said he was a murderer from the beginning. So I urge individual, I urge people, do not take your life. Do not destroy yourself. Do not destroy your family. Do not destroy, your neighbor. As I look around, I am so hurt now. Whenever I would hear of a murder or a murder-suicide, my heart goes out so much for those individuals, because I have been there. I am so glad that the plan of the devil did not fulfill in my life when he told me to destroy your wife. I am so glad. I am so glad. I give God all the praise. I give God all the honor. There are special demons that are working with the enemy to tell you, to destroy your life. But I want to encourage you this afternoon, believers and non-believers, because I even heard just recently at a church in Trinidad that this individual, 2 believers, the preacher was saying, commit suicide. One of them took off their clothes and jump into the sea. And she was a believer. So believers have been depressed also. We have been tempted and tried in all different areas, just as the normal human being. But God is a God of love and a God of mercy, a God of compassion. When I thought there wasn't any hope, but God said otherwise. So I am here this evening to let you know that the God of heaven, the God of the Bible, He is a God of signs. He is a God of wonders. He is a God of miracles. God Himself came to me. It didn't happen in a church. God Himself came, and wherever you might be, in your home, in a room, in the prison, God Himself could come and deliver you from depression and suicide and murder-suicide. God is able to deliver you. God is a deliverer. And I'm so glad. I am so glad that He came and rescued me. Because the devil, and I'm so glad that the plans of the enemy was not able to come to pass, come to fruition. I thank God that the plan was aborted. I give God the thanks. I give God all the praise, all the honor, and all the glory. So I just want to encourage the brethren, and I just want to encourage people in general, people in Trinidad and Tobago, people worldwide who might be seeing or hearing this testimony. Do not self-destruct your own life. Do not commit suicide. Do not murder. It's God, the same God that fashioned us, will not tell you to destroy your life. So I encourage you this afternoon that God loves you, and He have a plan and He have a purpose for your life. So I just want to encourage you this afternoon that you would pray. Pray to God. Cry out to Him with all your heart. As the Bible says, this poor man cried, and the Lord heard him and saved him out of all his troubles. Cry to God. I could not cry for myself, but there were other people who were crying on my behalf. I could not pray for myself. There were people praying on my behalf. Multitude of people praying, because I couldn't pray for myself. I couldn't cry for myself. You know what I mean? But there were people that held on to the horns of the altar for me. And when I thought it was over, God said otherwise. So I am not making up a story to tell you. I have been through this. This was my life. Many people know me, who know me. I am not making up this story. It is for real. Even my very co-workers, they will tell you. You know, it is not a make-up story. Depression is for real. And, you know, even prolonged grief. Prolonged grief also, it's an open door for demonic spirits to come into our bodies. So grief, whilst I was grieving and for my family, you know, to the triple murder plus the one before, prolonged grief is also an open door for demonic possession, and it could bring into a place of depression also. So that is my testimony, to encourage you, to encourage someone, to encourage Trinidad and Tobago, you know, to encourage the world at large. Do not go down that road. God loves you. Do not go down that road of destroying oneself. It is not God's plan. God is grieved. The heart of God is grieved when one commits, you know, such act. God is grieved that He's, you know, the people who He made, you know, to destroy oneself. That is not God's plan. So I would say, I hope this testimony would bring shed some kind of light for those who are going through depression at this time, that the family members don't give up on them, pray for them, you know, as much as possible, because like you just be in a whole world, you just be in your own world by yourself. But in the midst of it all, I thank God that I wasn't the type that will break out into this big set of violence, you know, because I thank God that part didn't come over, you know, but I thank God for rescuing me in the right time. So I give thanks to God. I give thanks for my family, for, you know, it hasn't been easy. It wasn't easy for them. I know during those times, it was not easy. It wasn't easy at all. But I thank God that they didn't give up on me, and God Almighty came through for me in His own time. So that is my testimony this afternoon. Thank you, and God bless you.